winner of Survivor 46, Kenzie.
Congratulations, Kenzie. You played a great game. How does it feel to finally have the news out that you are the winner of 46?
Oh my gosh, such a relief. I'm so excited that the cat's out of the bag. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, for my cast. It's just so much positivity and joy surrounding me right now. I'm just very excited.
Is there a moment that you look back on, you're like, I did that? Like, that's the moment I have most pride in from my journey.
Oh, wow. Really hard to pick one moment because it was like a constant uphill battle for me. I'm really proud of the fire making because I was really in my own way, and it really took a lot of like talking myself out of that in front of a bunch of cameras, in front of the jury, in front of everyone. I had to just block that out and like me, myself, and I, that's it. All you can do is you. It was a moment that I owned completely.
How did you push through that block and finally, ignite?
Yeah, I love the pun. Beautiful. It was tough because I make fires all the time. Like that's a thing that we do at home, and I had been making them on the island like as soon as we got our flint from Yanu. So I just choked under the pressure. I got in my own way and I got in my own head, and I knew Liz had been making fire all day. So that was in my head. I was like, you're about to lose it and you can't blame anyone except yourself. So I really just had to take a deep breath, center myself, and block everyone around me out. And it was just me and the flint and the knife, and it happened.
Rewinding all the way back to your time on Yanu, it's hard to believe, like episode 3, Banu tells Ben and Liz Kenzie is the mastermind. And then you
Yeah.
end up going to Final Four with Ben and Liz as two of
Yeah.
your closest allies, which is a testament to your social game. So how important was it for you to be building those relationships right at the merge?
Well, I was really working on lowering my threat level at the merge. So I was just focused on getting to know people. I was like,
Mhm.
I'll like dabble in strategy, but I don't want to drive those conversations. You know what I mean? And I just ended up really bonding with Ben immediately. Like we had so much in common, so funny, it just happened so organically. And Liz, kind of the same thing. It took us a few days. We weren't really vibing at the merge, but after that, Liz and I were really close. So I think it's hilarious that they completely forgot that I was such a big threat. But that's what happens when you're out there. Sometimes you just go with who you vibe with. And we were vibing and each other's best options, really. And no one saw us coming. And all of us were playing hard, and no one expected us to be playing hard because we were so jovial and fun and like vibing, if you will.
So at that point, you weren't trying to drive votes. And that's something that you talked about during Final Tribal. Like you were candid about, hey, I wasn't a driver of the votes. I was laying low, working on other aspects of my game. The jury responded really well to that. Sometimes other juries have been looking for, like, what's your singular move? Were there any worries going in about how your game would be received? And were you surprised by the reception?
I walked in pretty confidently. I knew what I had to bring to the table, and I knew I had good bonds, and I was relying on those bonds as opposed to heavy moves. And when I got faced with that, where it was like own up, I was like, you're right, I didn't. And I think you just have to own what you did out there, and that's the reality of what I did out there. I'm no fool, you know what I mean? I know that I got there from making friends and being less of a threat and not driving things. And that's what got me to the end. So you just have to take ownership of your game at that point.
Yeah, your ability to assess yourself and be honest and reflect that is what the jury is looking for.
Oh yeah, and like knowing your jury too, because if a different jury, I probably could have spun something around where I could have maybe claimed, but with them, with 46, you just had to give it to them straight. Like that's what they are going to respect, and that was how I wanted to communicate with the jury.
And that was the correct read at the time. So
Yeah.
you went in feeling pretty confident. Did that waver at all throughout the experience of Final Tribal? And how are you feeling at the end as everyone's going up to write their votes?
Yeah, I walked in feeling very good. I'd just come off of fire making. I had won immunity twice. I knew I had solid relationships with everyone. What I was not accounting for was how hard Ben and Charlie how well they were going to articulate their moves. I had been playing with them since 7. So I thought I knew both of their games pretty well, and I was learning things about their games that I was impressed with. So I was like, if I'm blown away by answers they're giving, the jury is, because I know them, you know what I mean? And I'm getting surprised and impressed by everything that they're saying. Like every answer throughout the whole tribal council just got better and better from Ben and from Charlie. Like, and there was a point in the middle where I was like, they are killing it. Like I thought I was going to clean sweep this thing, and both of them are competing so well and have this whole time. And I underestimated them as my competition. Like I knew we were all playing hard, but I was just so proud of them and like how hard all of us came to fight. And, you know, I think it's even more special to me, like pulling out the win after going up against like two really strong competitors.
It's easy to see how fierce that competition was, and it was such a close vote. Whose
Oh
vote
yeah.
for you were you most surprised by, and whose vote against you were you most surprised by?
I think it goes without saying, I was very surprised everyone else is by the Maria voting for me vote. You know, before we even went in there, I was like, I know I'm not getting Maria. So that's one. I might get 7, but I'm not getting Maria, you know? And I think it's just a testament to, you don't know what the jury's going to appreciate. So all you can do is pitch your game the best you can and be authentic to you. And you never know what's going to resonate with who. Obviously, I didn't expect to get her vote. As far as like the other way, the only vote I was really surprised by was Liz. I don't know where. I wasn't really counting on Liz. I just beat her in fire. So I was like, it's okay. Like, vote for who you think is the best. Hunter and I were really close. So I was a little surprised by Hunter, but the same thing goes to say, you don't know what's going to resonate with who. Like, and he had his reasons, and Charlie deserved some votes. You know, I think Ben deserves some votes too, but things shake out the way things shake out. So
Speaking of Hunter, he gave you credit for convincing him not to play his idol on the night that he went home. Can you take us into that move a little bit?
yeah. So that was a really complicated move for me. It was when I was struggling with like moral, because I loved Hunter so much and what was best for my game. So I actually told Hunter to play his idol pre-tribal. Like before we got to tribal, I was like, you better play it. Siga's voting for you. And then when we got to tribal and he kept asking me, I didn't want to publicly hitch my cart to the guy that was the target. So I was like, if he plays it, I voted Q and I can play with Hunter. If he doesn't, like, I'm going with the majority. So it was kind of like, I wanted him to stay because he was my friend and I loved him, but I knew the best thing for the group, or for my game at the time, was for him to go, because it would have just been me and Hunter against the world at that point. And it had to happen. So, but it really broke my heart. Like I really struggled with that one.
You can tell the jury really appreciated your answer about your plan for the $1,000,000. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and your backstory and reasoning, and how you do plan to spend it now that you have it in your pocket?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been working half my life. I turned 30 this year. I got my first salon job when I was 15. I went to beauty school while I was in high school. I was taking online classes, beauty school, and working in salons in the evening. I've just had to really work my way to where I am now. And I'm self-employed. I have been since I was 17. Like I said on the show, like my business is a place for other people to work and make money and enjoy their lives. And which is really important to me. Sorry, like the money thing really hits me because it's like hitting that I'm like gonna get it. And I'm doing exactly what I said with the money. I'm not spending it. I'm investing all of it. So that's my retirement plan. Like that's what I'm doing. And I'm having a baby in September. And so I get to take some longer maternity leave than I thought. And I get to hang out with my son. And that is, I'm sorry. I don't even know the words. I'm pregnant and hormonal, but yeah, it just means a lot to me that they gave me a chance to breathe. I've been working so hard my whole life.
It must be extra touching to watch yourself saying, like, I want to use this to build a family. And then as someone who's pregnant, having your son going to be entering the world soon, what are you going to tell him about your survivor journey?
You know, the nights on Yanu where I was feeling really low, I would just like breathe and be like, any day that you stay longer, like days where I didn't think I was going to get to the next day. I was like, any day you stay longer is another, like, I was thinking about my like unborn children and like being able to spend more time with them and that freedom and not having to grind so hard. So, you know, I'm so grateful for my baby, even though he wasn't even a thing, you know, for pushing me. And I just hope like my kids are inspired to follow their dreams and to go for it, and that I get to spend more time with them. You know, it's very full circle to watch the final vote get read and then like feel your son kick in your in your belly. I was like, ah, like this is so full circle. It's insane.
What do you think the biggest way that being put on Yanu and going through that tough experience prepared you for the road ahead and the eventual win?
I think really going to tribal is like an underestimated skill, because it's such a dance of how to communicate there, just enough with your allies and just enough with the target. And, you know, I went to more tribals than anyone. So it really, and, you know, 5 people went home with idols in their pockets this season. It's a record. And I think a lot of that speaks to how good people were at bamboozling the targets, and how good people were at acting at tribal. So I'm just grateful that I got some practice in before I had to go and do tribal pretty much every single one, except for one that I was eligible to go to, you know.
It really is a skill to put people at ease when you're sending them to their demise. Were there any other moments where you got to utilize that skill?
Ooh, I mean, with most of them, really, with Q, that was a big one, because Q and I had been at odds for days, for multiple votes. And at the Q vote, I had voted with him to get Venus out, which I didn't want to do, but I had to get another day. And sometimes that's just how it has to go. Yeah, to get him to bamboozle Q, I literally just had to like agree with everything he said, and and was like, yes, Q, we will go to the final 3 together. Thank you so much for saving me. I couldn't do this without you. And I think, yeah, I really got him and Maria. Well, Liz and I both did. Let me give credit where credit is due. We really got him and Maria completely bamboozled that we were actually playing the game.
Going back to the beginning with Yanu, you're the last Yanu standing.
Yeah.
Originally, how far did you want to go with the Yanu 3?
Oh, we were tight. Like Tiff and I were like this, and Q was actually pretty cool until the merge, and we all saw him blast off. I mean, Q's cool now, but the game Q is complicated. Great TV though, I will give him that. I would have gone deep with them, and there was like that moment where I was like, Tiff's got to go, you know. But that's because everything was falling apart, and I knew people wanted Tiff out anyway. So I kind of just hopped on that boat, and then I was like, I got so comfortable, and I was like, never mind. Like, that's dumb. Tiff's working with me. We know where the idol is. And I think if I had not floated her name, the same thing would have happened. I would have been left out. She would have been gone home. All it did was make me look dumb. And I really wanted to go farther with Tiff.
Were there any strategic moves or moments that we didn't get to see that you wish we got to see?
Ooh, I feel like I had a really good edit. Like a lot of my stuff got shown, and a lot of my game, like I said at Final Tribal, was so social that really was my strategy. Like a lot of my strategy was just spending hours talking to people and getting to know them and building relationships and bonds.
Is there anyone that you built a relationship with and got to know that you wish the audience got to know a little bit better or a little bit differently?
I think Liz has been perceived very strangely by the fans, and Liz is such an awesome, amazing person. She's a lot more level-headed and down to earth than what was shown. And people need to understand that like Liz was a threat. Like it wasn't just her screaming about Applebee's, you know, that's just good TV. At the end of the day, like Liz is a successful person. She literally, I think she has a communications major. I can't remember what she went to school for, but she's a very impressive woman and a lot more level-headed than what was shown. I wish people got to see like a more well-rounded view of Liz.
Before I let you go, I feel like there's some camps of winners that are like, I got my win, I'm done. Like, this is my Survivor experience. And others that get the bug and like the itch to play again. Where do you sit right now?
I am in my mommy homemaker era. I'd never say never. You know, if they called, I would definitely consider it. But I really got everything I could ever dream of out of the island. I got the rewards, I got the friends, I got the money, I got the experience, I got the bad times, I got the good times. Like my Survivor package is wrapped with a little bow, and I'm ready to just enjoy the rewards from my suffering at this point.
What if like 20 years from now, your son is like, Mom, let's go on Blood versus Water 3. What are we thinking?
Oh yeah, I mean with him, sure. I mean, I'll put him out, but sure.